This video was designed to specifically instruct you on how to build a Spetsnaz University loadout. I've ordered some dueling targets to do some scenes for the AKS-74N video, but the target hasn't arrived yet. It's no secret, I've been posting updates on that rifle for some time and it's finally complete. But without that target, I'm afraid I'll need another week. To cover that gap, I've decided to revisit Sober Kit and specifically talk about how to make this loadout on your own piece by piece. There will be a little reiteration from the main loadout video, but stick with me as I'll provide sources for the gear. Before we get started, I must warn you, this kit is quite expensive. There are plenty of ways to save costs, however, and I'll be making suggestions along the way. At the end of the video, I'll break down the price of the whole loadout. I'll start with the uniform. It is a UF Pro Striker XT or HT pants and shirt in brown gray. These UF Pro uniforms are seen in use by Army Special Forces as well as domestic counterterrorism units within Russia. The Spetsnaz University cadre and Sober are most usually seen in this brown gray uniform, and if you're making this kit, you must purchase one. Moving on to more juicy stuff. The official helmet of the Chechens is surprisingly Chinese. Sober bought and makes use of tons of Militech fast helmets, hydro-dipped in ATAX AU. You can find these on Alibaba through the link in the description, and despite my own initial skepticism, there are tons of consumer-made videos proving the ballistic protection of the helmet. The Chechens sometimes remove the original night vision mount and replace them with Wilcox G10s, or even more commonly, they make use of these weird special night vision mounts. I don't really know the name, but you can source them from Kohai Yuda on Facebook, linked to his profile below. You also need to get yourself some black arc rail adapters for your Comtac or Sword & headset, though the color of the headset itself makes no difference. Officers typically decorate their helmet with reflective IR patches and ATAX patches with their call sign. I had a custom IR patch made by John Seuss, again linked to his Facebook below. If you're using a bump helmet or some other fast helmet, Tarek often makes use of UR mesh helmet covers in ATAX. That could save you some money on buying an actual ballistic helmet or buying the helmet that's proper for this kit. Moving on to the plate carriers. Sober usually uses locally made replicas of SBCS-1 vests and the SBC-1 vest. The official versions and even the Russian replicas that Tarek uses are hard to find commercially, so instead we make use of well-made replicas. The SBCS replica that we make use of is made by Pantac. It's very expensive, and due to the virus, their production and ship time is slowed down substantially. But if instead you want to go down the SBC-1 route, you can hit up my buddy Tabor, who's hand-making the SBC replicas that I'm using for half the price of the Pantac vests. These vests are made out of non-IR reflective materials, and they hold my Gauss 6 plates just fine. The pouches used on these vests are made by Warrior Assault Systems, and sometimes WASP DCS plate carriers are seen in use, though these pouches are getting harder to get because WASP discontinued their ATAX AU camouflage product line. A lot of these pouches are still in stock in Russia. John Roberts managed to source all of my pouches from Russian vendors, so get in touch with him if you need a source for them. Otherwise, you'll have to go with another brand. The war belt Tarek uses is most typically one made by High Speed Gear Industries, though once again, they seem to have discontinued their ATAX AU line, so I recommend just finding any off-brand ATAX AU belt. The HSGI belt I'm using is too small for me, but it's all I was able to find. I will happily trade you my small if you find one medium. Finally, the last bits. The drop leg holster most commonly used is a G-code holster. The gloves used are various, but I see a lot of Impact Mechanics and Coyote Brown. As far as the boots, make sure to use Coyote Brown, tan, or brown boots. Avoid wearing black boots like what I've got on. When you do your pouch layout, find some pictures of Tarek guys to help you. Typically in the front you'll see two double mag pouches layered on top of each other, with a WASP IFAK pouch immediately to the side. My IFAK, boots, and dumb pouch have not arrived yet, so this kit is not quite finished, but I wasn't going to make you wait. I won't go into the firearms too much because there's a lot of variation. Some general rules to go by are not to use older AKM or AKMS rifles. Never leave a gun in stock configuration as far as accessories goes, and spray paint your rifles. Tarek officers almost universally paint their guns. Some accessory brands to look for would be Fab Defense, CAA, and obviously Zenitco. Also, speaking of firearms, I just finished a new line of merchandise based on the Kalashnikov rifles you've seen on this channel. Again, link below. Time to look at the cost. I'm going to keep my mouth shut and let the graphic do the work for me on this one. Once you've completed your kit, message me on Discord. If you're not shitbag, you might be able to join us in battle. Akamat Sila.